Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Sarah, and I'm just going to take you through a little kind of feel good flow and do some stretches that I like to do every day. So let's get right in here. And I've just been doing these lately when I don't feel like I have energy to work out, but the stretching feels so nice. We'll start in a seated position and rest your hands on your legs, palms face down, close your eyes, just do a deep breath in, exhale out through the mouth, let your shoulders relax, everything relax, deep breath in, open your mouth, let it go, just sink into the ground, one more time, deep breath in, exhale, and I do kind of like a seated cat-cow, so inhale, arch your spine, look up, and exhale, round your spine. You can let your knees come up a little bit. Inhale, and do it 3 times. Exhale, round your spine. Last time, inhale, arch your spine, look up. And exhale, round it back. So we're going to do kind of like a circle. So you'll bring your chest towards your right knee, arch your spine forward, chest to left knee, and exhale as you round your spine back and around. Just making big circles. We'll do 3 in each direction. I've got one more here. Once you get to the front, we'll reverse. So exhale as you go back, inhale forward. And I'm getting lots of pops in my back here. I hope you are too. It's really nice. Last one here. Okay, and come back up to seated. Inhale, reach your arms up. We're going to twist. So exhale, I'm twisting to my left, so my left hand comes behind me. I'm reaching my right fingers down towards the floor, so it's almost like a twist and a fold. So inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, maybe you can twist a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Just relax. Make sure your right hip stays on the ground. Last one. And exhale. Inhale, arms reach up. Same thing, other side. So right hand comes behind you, left fingertips come to the floor. And we're twisting and then also folding. So reach down, 3 breaths, slow and deep. Maybe you can go a little deeper on each exhale. And we'll inhale, come back up to the center. We're going to exhale, reach our fingertips forward. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, hinge at the hips and just walk those fingertips forward. And let your head relax. A nice little hip stretch. It's very gentle. And we'll do a deeper one later, don't you worry. Inhale, come back up. And switch the cross of our legs. Same thing. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fingertips forward. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And exhale, walk those fingertips forward and hinge at the hips. You can just drop your head down. The main thing here is you feel a nice, gentle stretch in your hips. One more breath. And exhale. Inhale, come up. And we're just going to come forward onto our hands and our knees. Walk your hands about a handprint forward so the hands are just in front of your shoulders. Tuck your toes under and come up to downward facing dog. So if this is your first downward facing dog of the day, then just bicycle your legs. Take your time coming in. You don't have to come into your deepest stretch every single time you come into a pose. You can allow yourself to take the time that you need to warm up and lengthen and really just enjoy what's actually there. So right now I'm just walking my feet back and forth while my hamstrings and my calves open up. And I like to wiggle my hips back and forth. And then whenever I feel like, oh, I feel a lot more open now and relaxed, then I settle into the pose. Then downward dog, your heels don't have to touch the ground. Mine do, but if yours don't, that's okay. You can just leave your knees bent like this and just keep the action of working your heels towards the ground. I really encourage you to, rather than walking your feet closer to your hands so you can get your heels on the ground, to keep your down dog long and focus instead on the length in the spine. So you're really stretching out your spine here. And the last thing, when you're in down dog, you don't want to be looking forward or really down at your mat. You want to let your head just hang so your neck is loose and relaxed. Let's do one more breath here. And exhale. Let it all go. Let it be enough. The inhale, come forward to plank. So shoulders over wrists. And exhale, slowly lower down. All the way to the floor. You're going to come up for a Sphinx pose. So your shoulders will be right over your elbows and your forearms and palms are just straight in front of you. Try to relax your glutes. So I like to shake my hips a little, make sure my butt isn't pressing into the floor because that can kind of hurt your lower back. So make sure your glutes are relaxed. And you might not be this high with your chest, and that's fine. If you need to be a little more forward, if that was too intense for you, that's fine. You just be a little more forward. Find what feels good. Whenever you're in Cobra or Sphinx pose, you want to think of drawing your shoulder blades back and together. And you should feel a nice stretch in your chest and your abdomen and the front of your hips here. I'm going to do one more breath here. And from here, you can stay if you like, or if you want to deepen the stretch, you can press your hands into the floor and straighten your arms. So this feels good to me. If it doesn't feel good to you, just stay in that first pose. But you want to think the same thing. The shoulder blades are drawing together. Relax your glutes. Do one more breath. Exhale, lower down. And we'll walk our hands in. Walk up to our hands and knees, and we're going to come to a forward fold. So press up onto your hands, walk your feet in. Your feet should be hip distance apart and parallel. Grab your elbows and just hang. And let your spine stretch out in this direction here. Let your neck hang. Once again, I get a lot of pops whenever I just relax in this pose, and I really, really enjoy it. So I hope you do too. Your legs don't have to be straight like mine are, but they can't be. If they are straight, make sure you don't walk out your knees. Make sure you always have a nice soft bend in your knees. You can be still, or you can do like I'm doing. I'm swinging back and forth. Always remember slow, deep breaths in every pose. There are some yoga practices where you are very active and you build a lot of strength. And I really enjoy those classes, but today I just need to make sure to stretch out my body and relax because I've been going a little hard lately and I injured myself, so I'm taking it easy today and just enjoying this stretching for my body. Let's do one more deep breath here, in through the nose and out. That's good. Alright, so soft bend in the knees. You can release your arms. Let's roll the spine all the way up. Let's come to a wide leg forward fold. So you'll turn to the long side of your mat. And once again, your feet are parallel. You can have your feet out wider than this. A good check is your feet should be kind of under your hands if you have your arms stretched out. So wider might be a little more comfortable for you. So think of strengthening your legs. So activate your legs like almost like you've got a ball and you're squeezing your legs around that ball. Hands on your hips and exhale, lean yourself forward. And whenever you've leaned forward, you can drop your hands to the ground. And you want your wrists to line up under your elbows. So you don't really want them super far forward like this. You want your wrists to be under your elbows and your elbows at 90 degrees if possible. So same thing here. You don't want to lock your knees out. I really like shaking my head in this pose because most of the time I get a neck pop that way and it feels really good. Slow deep breaths here. One more deep breath in and out. Alright, so start to press into your legs, activate your legs. Inhale, look up and come halfway up. And you can roll the spine up or you can place your hands on your hips and come up with a straight spine. Alright, so we'll turn our feet out 45 degrees. So they're facing the corners of our mat here. And I like to walk my feet out a little bit further. And we're going to bend our knees, bring our hips or our thighs close to parallel here. I like to kind of sway back and forth on the first one. Kind of let my hips do what they're going to do. I got a little cramp. You might get a cramp too. Just come out and come back in. If you get a cramp, that's fine. And let your hips wake up a little bit, and then once they are okay, then you can just relax here. And I like to rest my hands on my knees whenever I'm doing this for kind of a stretching pose. I'm still just rocking side to side, so you can do that too. It's a nice inner thigh stretch here. And we're going to add in a little kind of stretch for our neck and shoulders here. So drop the right shoulder down, it's a little twist, and press into that right knee. And you can look wherever is comfortable for you. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, drop the left shoulder down, press into that left knee. Again, just look where it's comfortable. Do it one more time each side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right shoulder down. Inhale, center. Exhale, left shoulder down. Inhale, center. I'll come back up. And we're going to do something a little hard. It's always good to challenge yourself at least once in a practice. So we're coming into the middle splits. And there is another option I will give you if this doesn't work for you. So you saw I was walking my feet out. So I'm just kind of heel toe them out, wider, wider, wider. And When I get them pretty wide, I come up onto my hands and I'm pressing my body weight up and off the floor. So I'm holding most of my body weight with my arms, and I come onto inner uh, the inner edge of my foot, and I just keep sliding and I bring my chest down to the ground. Now, before you do this, if this is too much for you, once you get to your limit, you can bend your knees back. So it's hard to see. I'll show you from this side. You can bend your knees back. So where your knees are kind of in a 90-degree and the inner edge of your foot is on the ground this way. And you can come as far down as you need to. You can, if you have a pillow nearby or a block or a book or whatever you have nearby, you can prop yourself up if this stretch gets to be too intense with just kind of hanging there. So it actually feels really nice right now. I think I might just do this instead. Not take if you want to head on into the middle splits, then you can stay there. But the main thing we're looking for is an inner thigh stretch. And that's what I'm getting here. So I'm just letting this be enough for me today. And you know what? It feels really good. So, so I'm just going to enjoy it here. So sometimes whenever we want so much to go into a certain pose or for a pose to look a certain way, then we kind of force our way into that pose. And whenever we do this, then we start to grip and tighten, usually unconsciously, because it's difficult, and might even be painful. It might be too much. So the best thing to actually deepen your practice is to not force, but just accept where you are and enjoy. And you'll find that if you can relax in a pose, so instead of going to 100%, just go to 80%, but at least be able to relax in that pose, you'll find that you can actually usually go deeper. So, a little advice that I found that works for me. Hope it helps you. All right, so let's come on out of this. It's a little funky to get out of. You got to kind of push yourself up and then walk your legs together. I'm just gonna leave this pillow here. Why not? So I'm gonna walk my knees together and just come down into a child's pose. And I'm just gonna relax on this pillow. That might have been a really intense stretch for you. But it might not have been, but it's kind of intense for me. So I'll just kind of let my body come back together here. Okay. So let's do a wide leg forward fold on the ground. So we'll swing our feet in front of us, and same thing again. Just kind of want your legs about the distance of your arms when they're spread apart. And I'm just gonna keep using this pillow because I'm really enjoying it. So for the wide-legged forward fold, if you press your heels into the ground, you can activate your legs. Once again, try not to lock out those knees, and you just hinge at the hips. So lately I've been feeling a lot of tightness in my hamstrings when I come in this pose, so I'm not going as deep as I usually go, and it's taken a lot for me to accept that. But it just kind of is what it is. I'm not sure why I've been having this issue, but you just gotta accept it. Sometimes it's nice you can figure out what the problem is, but sometimes you don't know what the problem is, and you just have to accept what is. So there's a lot of peace in that. So just go into your wide leg forward fold as deep as feels good. And as long as you're doing it with good technique and you feel a stretch, then That's enough. Let's do one more breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, come up. And we'll finish with a pigeon pose here. So I'm going to keep using this pillow. So pigeon pose is actually a really difficult pose. For this pigeon, I'm going to have my left shin parallel with the front of the mat. My left knee is at a 90-degree angle, and my left foot is flexed to help protect my knee. You want to have your right leg straight back behind you. A lot of times this hip wants to open up, and so the top of your foot is not on the floor or the foot's pointed out. You really want to make sure that leg is straight behind you and the top of the foot is on the floor. If you're rolling off onto this left hip, this hip that's bent, then put a pillow under there, put 2 pillows under there. Just make sure that your hips stay level. So once you get set up correctly, then you can stay up here, and that's fine. If this is a good stretch for you, just stay here. If you want a deeper stretch, then you can walk your hands forward, and you can walk all the way to the ground if you like. The number one thing with pigeon pose is you don't want to feel any pain in the knee. If you feel pain or really any sensations in the knee, it means that you're really not stretching your hip. If your hips are very, very tight, then your knees will try to compensate in this pose because the knees will bend easier. They have they have more give, even though it's not really safe. I mean, we should have a little bit of give in our knees. It helps us to get through things that come up in the day, but with this pose, you're really trying to focus on the hip stretch, and really there's no knee stretching in yoga. You don't want to be twisting or torquing your knee. So if you feel that, then you might just have to take an alternate hip stretch. You can even do that seated hip stretch we did at the beginning again. So just let your hips relax here and notice if you're gripping your jaw. Are you gripping your shoulders, or are you gripping your hip that you're trying to stretch and open? Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere in your body. And if you can, just let it go. Let's do one more deep breath in and out. Relax everything. Inhale, press up onto our hands. And we'll just swing this right leg forward. We're going to do the other side. So, right shin is parallel to the front of the mat. Right knee is at a 90-degree angle. I'm putting my pillow under my right hip for a little extra space today. Left foot is straight back behind me with the top of my foot on the ground. Flexing this foot of the forward leg will help to stabilize your knee joint. So that is why we try to do that. So inhale, exhale, fold, come forward if you like. My baby just woke up. We'll have to finish pretty quick after this. And that's okay. So again here, just scan your body and see if you're still holding a lot of tension anywhere. And if you are, see if you can relax. So this is again what I was saying with a lot of times we try to force ourselves into a pose because we want it to look a certain way, and then when we do that, we start to grip and tighten. Maybe in the area of the body we're trying to stretch, maybe in other portions. So it really goes against the whole goal. It's really not in your best interest to force. It's really in your best interest just to accept. And also, whenever you accept, then you can enjoy. So just enjoy. Let's do one more deep breath in and out. Press up. We'll swing this left foot forward. I'm just gonna use this pillow under my head. So at the end of every yoga class, you take a final rest, which is called the corpse pose or shavasana. I don't typically have a pillow, but why not treat myself today? So you just let your feet kind of flop open, and you let your arms come out to the sides with your palms face up, and just however open your palms may be. You don't have to, force them open. You just let everything relax and sink into the floor. So you may be tempted to skip Shavasana, the corpse pose, and many people are because in our culture, at least here in the US, it's very go, go, go. And I do this too. I want to skip sometimes the rest, but it's so important because it really signifies the end of this time that you took for yourself. And if you don't take this time for yourself, then you just continue the cycle of rushing through your day, rushing. And it's really important for you to lay here, relax, enjoy, acknowledge the work that you put in, the time that you took for yourself, and kind of cherish it. That's what's going to help you as you go throughout your day. And we can't lay in Shavasana for forever. But you lay here as long as you like. Whenever you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes and move your wrists and your ankles. You bend your knees. Typically, you roll to the right side and you pause and you thank yourself for doing the practice. And you press yourself up. Bring your hands together. Bring your hands to your forehead, reminding yourself to have clear and loving thoughts. Hands to the mouth, reminding yourself to have clear and loving words. And hands to the heart, reminding yourself to have clear and loving intentions. Thank you so much for going through this practice with me. I hope you feel relaxed, and I just hope that you enjoyed it.